in history, all 4 belts in the cruiserweight division will belong proudly around the waist of one man.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS Rifle TV in association with MTK Global. We're at the English Institute for Sport here in Sheffield. I'm joined by trainer Rob McCRACKEN, MBE. How often do you use the MBE bit?
I don't, mate.
Ever?
No.
When you introduce yourself, do you not ever say I'm Rob McCRACKEN, MBE?
No, don't be daft.
Why?
Because it looks terrible. You can't. Life-saving surgeons and doctors and people who do things for the community, and then I'm a boxing coach. Come on.
But you've been recognised for your services in sport. So.
Yeah, it's nice, but you've got to put things in perspective.
Just Rob. It's fine.
There you go. That's it.
How are you? All good?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good, cool.
Yeah, this is his customary training session he does for the media the week before a fight. So, I know you're not giving away too much here with the training session in front of the media, Rob.
Yeah, he just did 2 or 3 rounds on the pads, had a little shake out and stuff. He's going to spar later. He sparred yesterday, he did 12 rounds, so we have a short spar this evening. But he's in really good shape. It's been a good camp, he's worked hard. Obviously Parker's a serious contender, so Anthony's prepared diligently for him.
What kind of weight can we expect Anthony to be next week?
Whatever I say, I'll be wrong. He's lighter than he was in the last camp.
He looks like, a lot lighter.
I think the Pulev situation 10 days before pulling out, I think that was a bit of a motivational thing. He probably sat around a little bit longer than he should have the week of the fight. But listen, we like him to come in anything under 17.10. As long as he's not over 17.10. 17.8, 17.9, 17.7 would be lovely, around that area.
With a lot of people talking about potential fights for Anthony, does it indicate that the outside public are maybe dismissing the threat that Joseph Parker could pose in Cardiff next week?
Yeah, possibly, but all that matters is the Parker fight. Parker's a good fighter, he's a solid champion. He's not to be underestimated. Josh has trained long and hard for him. He's took him deadly serious. So, there's no underestimating Joseph Parker on our behalf. Anthony's sparred lots of rounds. He's practiced what he's got to do in the fight, and he's going to implement that on the night. But it's going to be a great fight. 2 champions, and in our opinion, Josh is the number 1.
How did you assess Joseph Parker's last defence of his WBO title against Hughie Fury last year? How did you see that?
I think the saying talks cheap, and it is cheap because, I think, what fighters are going to do and what they actually do on the night doesn't always equate, and that's what a fight can be like. But he didn't perform. He didn't perform well. But it's open to interpretation. The fight itself. Parker's the defending champion. Fury was very good at negating him, making him miss and stuff. He made him look very clumsy at times, but it's a different fight. He might have learned from that. He got 12 rounds in, and I'm sure he'll put it down to a bad night and think that Hughie was on the back foot. Others look at it differently and think that he didn't impose himself enough on Hughie Fury.
Eddie Hearn believes that the fight with Joseph Parker will be a tougher fight than the one with Vladimir Klitschko. Do you agree with that?
It can't be tougher than Klitschko. That's why Eddie's a great promoter. Eddie's a great promoter, but he
said that several times. Yeah,
he's a great promoter, but who knows? But I don't think you can get a better fight than Klitschko. The fight had everything you want in a fight. Slow start, then it exploded. Then Josh looks like he's going to sail it, and then next minute Klitschko's totally in control, and then Josh pulls it back from the jaws of defeat and finishes in spectacular style. It would be hard to beat that, but I do agree with Eddie that it'll be a great fight.
Well, like I said, he said it will be a tougher fight, so you don't see it being a tougher fight?
It can't be tougher because Anthony got hit with about 30 clean shots in 5 and 6 by Klitschko, and he was above me, and they were on the chin, left hooks and right hands. So, I don't see that he can be tougher because, Anthony shouldn't be getting hit with those type of shots, that amount of shots in a round or two. I think it might be a drawn-out affair. I think Parker looked to impose himself behind the jab and looked to counter with hooks. And Josh has got to dictate the pace of the fight and the rhythm of the fight. And if Anthony does that, then he'll win and he'll look good. But certainly Parker's a solid contender.
When does Anthony Joshua peak, in your opinion?
Well, he's kind of in the middle of his journey, and he's in the phase where he really enjoys boxing. He enjoys training and stuff. But obviously, the learning's done now in the fights mainly. It's just practice, the build up, and going over drills and practicing your technique and getting your fitness up to level and getting the sharpness through sparring. But I think the real learning's done in the fights. But it's the World Heavyweight Championship, and it's deadly serious. You can't underestimate anybody. You've seen that with fantastic reigns like Lennox Lewis. What a great fighter he was, but he fell short once or twice, comfortably won the returns, but it just shows you how precarious it is. But AJ knows that, he knows the pitfalls of boxing. He's prepared for all of them, but he's certainly prepared to box well on the 31st and defend his title successfully.
Are you saying that there's a lot more from Anthony Joshua to come that we haven't already seen yet, Rob?
I think so, yeah, without a doubt. I think he's getting his output's getting better per round. I think he's relaxing more. I think he understands what opponents are doing and trying to set up. You know, early on he was still inexperienced. Latterly, especially in sparring, he sees what's coming back. He understands them trying to set traps for him and bring him onto shots. He's lessened the throwing the odd slow shot to give away a counter. So, he's working on that. He's always working to try and get better and improve all the time. And he's working hard, but when he lets his hands go and he's in a rhythm, then there's no stopping him.
Before the Klitschko fight, people were obviously questioning how good his chin was. I think he answered some of those questions there. He obviously got back up from a heavy knockdown by Klitschko. Stamina-wise, he always gets some criticism, doesn't he, Rob? Anthony, going into fights?
Yeah, it's who's criticising him, isn't it? And the chin is laughable. Klitschko's knocked down about 56 good fighters, so he got knocked down, he got back up from a heavy knockdown and won the fight. When I was boxing, that was test achieved, done, end of conversation. So all this nonsense about it's just silly. AJ's a solid, robust heavyweight and a dangerous heavyweight, and when he gets behind his reach and lets his shots flow, it's going to be very difficult for anybody who's in the ring with him. But all this sort of like negative type of stuff, it should be just it shouldn't register because it's just not factual. Klitschko fight, great fight, in with a genuine puncher, got caught 7 or 8, 9, 10 times clean on the chin, big shots, withstood it, got dropped, got back up, got the win. When Larry Holmes was the champion, Ernie Shavers knocked him flat on his back, he got up and won, and then Holmes was a legend. AJ gets back up off his back, and his chin, do me a favour.
Obviously you're not overlooking next Saturday, but the constant talk of Deontay Wilder, in your opinion, when is the right time to fight Deontay Wilder?
My opinion, personally, I would have thought all that matters is Parker. Parker's a good fighter, a dangerous challenger, and AJ can't look past him. He's got to take him deadly serious, which he has. He's got to beat Parker, get the win there, see Parker off, and then you start looking at that. But personally, I think that's a fight next year when it's a bigger fight, stateside. Pay-per-view numbers will be bigger. That's my opinion. I think that it's a fight for next year, but all that really matters is Joseph Parker. But certainly AJ beats Parker, him and Wilder in 2019 be spectacular.
But you're talking about in terms of building the fight and basically building the fight, sorry.
I'm talking in sensible terms about creating a worldwide event against an American who's just come to the fore. He's just starting to get noticed in a bigger way in the States, but isn't pay-per-view yet in the States. And Anthony Joshua, who's just establishing himself as a bona fide heavyweight champion, unified heavyweight champion, I should add. Anthony's got to do his bit of the bargain. He's got to beat Parker. Parker's a good fighter. He's got to beat Parker. Wilder's got to build himself a little bit more in the States so that when the fight happens, it's a worldwide event. Not possibly a Mayweather-Pacquiao at this stage because of the experience of both fighters, and they stayed at the top for so long. But it certainly could be a lot bigger in 19 than it will be right now.
If you want it for next year, Eddie Hearn says he wants it for this year. Who ultimately kind of decides when that fight happens between you, Eddie and Anthony?
Well, we'll obviously have a chat about it, but Anthony will listen to me and we'll discuss it. It's been all the way through since he turned professional, and Eddie brilliantly puts all the opportunities in front of you, and then it's for me and Anthony to sit down and go through it and decide what works and and what works when and how and stuff. So, you know, I can't give you an exact answer right now, but ultimately, you know, up till now, opponent-wise, Eddie puts them in front of you, me and Anthony decide them.
But before any of that, next week in Cardiff, he's got a job to do. So
100%. It's a good challenger, dangerous challenger, good fighter, Joseph Parker. But AJ's prepared really hard for him, long and hard, and he's looking forward to the fight. Be a great fight, spectacular fight, and hopefully a spectacular finish. AJ becoming the winner, and you know, taking Parker's belt. But you know Parker thinks he's going to win, so let's find out.
final question, Rob. Obviously, we're expecting the return of Mr. Tyson Fury soon. He's obviously in training, losing a lot of weight at the moment. Again, this is a fight that you potentially see for next year rather than this year.
I mean, listen, I'm not Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, you know, he doesn't have to prove anything. He's unbeaten. He's had a tremendous career up till now. I'm sure if that fight's something in the future, then it will happen by itself. Both British, both unbeaten heavyweights. So that's probably down the line. I'm sure Tyson, and who am I to speak for him? I'm sure he'll have his own plans and ideas, and he normally sticks to that. But yeah, sure down the line, it'd be huge.
Rob, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Appreciate your time, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you next week in Cardiff.
Cheers, mate.
All right. Cheers, mate.
First time in history, all 4 belts in the cruiserweight division will belong proudly around the waist of one man.